You ever feel like being a leader is just pulling you in a million different directions at once? Well, today we're going to look at a totally new way to think about leadership. And the answer? Well, it comes from a pretty wild place, the world of quantum physics.
This quote right here from a VP of engineering named Elena, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? I feel like I'm breaking my own brain. It's that exact feeling so many leaders have. You know, you're told to be one way in the morning and the complete opposite in the afternoon. And here's the thing to remember. That feeling, it's not some personal failure. It's built into the system.
All right, so let's dig into this core conflict. We're calling it the leader's paradox. I mean, just think about the demands you face every single day. We're told to be agile, but also disciplined. Be totally data-driven, but, trust your gut. Focus on this quarter's numbers, but also be 100% committed to the long-term vision. Now, the fancy term for this is ambidextrous leadership. But for people like Elena, it feels less like a cool skill and more like, well, a total contradiction. It's like you're supposed to hold two completely opposite ideas in your head at the exact same time.
So, what do we do about this? How do we solve it? The answer, believe it or not, comes from a place you'd never expect. It's time for a little lesson from physics.
So this brings us to this mind-bending idea from the physicist Niels Bohr. What he figured out is that light isn't either a solid little particle or a flowing wave. It's actually just pure potential. It only becomes one or the other based on the tool you use to measure it. And here's the absolute kicker. You cannot see both the wave and the particle at the same time. The tool you choose literally determines the reality you get to see.
Okay, so let's see how this applies to leadership. First up, we have particle mode. Think of this as your structured, get-it-done self. This is the world of KPIs, of deadlines, of spreadsheets and compliance. It's the solid, tangible, measurable part of your job, where problems usually have one right answer. And then on the flip side, you've got wave mode. This is the fluid, kind of fuzzy realm of leadership. This is where you're building culture, brainstorming strategy, fostering innovation, and creating trust. You can't just stick these things on a chart, right? In fact, if you try to measure a wave with a particle tool, the whole thing just collapses.
So, if physics gives us the what, the idea of these two modes, an ancient framework from Vedanta gives us the how. Let's look at the three leadership modes that really bring this idea to life.
This ancient wisdom talks about three gunas, or energies. First, you have tamas. That's your particle mode. It's awesome for structure and stability. But if you overuse it, you get rigidity, bureaucracy, and fear. Then there's rajas, which is your wave mode. This creates passion, flow, and new ideas. But too much rajas? Total chaos and a lack of focus. And then, and this is the most important one, there's sattva. Now, sattva isn't something you do. It's a state of being. It's that calm, clear-headed observer inside you that can wisely choose which of the other two modes you actually need in that moment.
Okay, so this is all great in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice? Let's get to the actionable part, the quantum switch framework.
And the framework itself is actually super simple. It's just 3 steps. First, you take the observer pause. This is your sattva moment. You just step back, take a breath, and ask, okay, what kind of reality am I actually dealing with here? Second, you choose your apparatus. Does this situation call for a particle approach or a wave approach? And third, you make the conscious switch. You intentionally decide to adopt the right mode for that specific problem.
You can think of this table as your diagnostic tool, your cheat sheet. Is the problem convergent, meaning it has one right answer? Then you need to be the architect in particle mode. Or is the problem divergent, with tons of possible answers? Then you got to be the gardener in wave mode. Is your goal efficiency or is it innovation? The answer tells you which tool to grab. And this is so important. Most of our leadership stress comes from a modal mismatch. Basically, trying to use a hammer when you really need a watering can.
So let's bring this all together and go back to Elena. Let's watch how she actually uses this quantum switch to handle her crazy, complex job.
Okay, check this out. Scenario A. A server is down. Total crisis. This is a classic particle problem, right? So Elena consciously switches into Thomas mode. She's issuing clear commands, she's demanding hourly updates, she's assigning roles, she's collapsing all that uncertainty down to a single solution. But now, look at scenario B, planning the 2026 roadmap. That is a pure wave problem, so she switches into Raja's mode. Now she's asking big, open-ended questions, she might even ban computers to get people talking, and she's totally comfortable with ambiguity. It's the same exact leader, but by consciously switching modes, she can master 2 completely different realities. Now, just a heads up, switching modes takes a lot of mental energy. It's not easy. So how do you manage that? Well, there are two great strategies. First, batch your reality. Seriously, don't schedule a super creative wave mode brainstorm right after a deep dive particle mode budget audit. Give your brain a break. And second, signal the mode to your team. Just say it out loud. Okay, everyone, for this next hour, we're in full-on wave mode. There are no bad ideas. It gives the whole team permission to shift their thinking right along with you.
So you see, the solution to feeling like your brain is breaking isn't trying to be both a wave and a particle at the same time, because that's impossible. Real leadership, true effectiveness, comes from having the clarity, that sattva state, to see what's in front of you, and then having the wisdom to consciously choose the right tool for that exact moment. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you lead, the next time you walk into a room, will you be a wave or will you be a particle?